Hi, everyone. This is Jeff Clark of Paydirt Prospector, our new paid newsletter, where we look at early stage opportunities. And I'm here at the Metals Investor Forum in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. And I'm with Galen McNamara, the CEO of a new exciting uranium company, Aero, A-E-R-O Energy, which we recommend in our newsletter. So, Galen, thanks for joining me here today at Metals Investor Forum.
Yeah, thanks very much, Jeff. Great to be here and always great to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Galen, we always say in the industry, we start with the people, right? So tell us a little bit about your background. You've actually won awards for uranium discovery, and it's not just you. You have other people on your board that have also won awards for making discoveries at uranium. So first of all, tell us about you and your team that's leading this new company.
Sure. Well, where to start? The best place is to probably describe that I'm a geologist going back about 20 years now. I was just thinking about this earlier before we did our presentation, and my first summer in the field was 2004. I was 19 years old in Northern Ontario looking for copper and zinc. And that was a real eye-opening experience, being in a bush camp for the entire summer and no days off and no leaving. It was actually pretty fun. But past that, expanded, and I've worked most of Canada, the US now, as you know, a little bit in South America. Focused on a lot of things, but the relevant thing here is my experience in uranium, and that between 2014 and 2018, I got to work at NextGen Energy, where I managed the drilling and had a big part in the drill out of that deposit, and got to see it go from just an interesting prospect with one rig at site to the very, very significant, globally significant is a very perhaps a modest way to put it, high-grade uranium deposit that is waiting to be developed now. And at the end, I think, but by the time that I left there to do my own thing and start companies, I think there was 8 rigs at site.
Yeah, wow.
And I could, it maybe later on, or if anyone sees me around, I have some great stories to tell about some of the biggest holes in the history of uranium exploration.
Wow,
that we got to witness
impressive.
At site coming out of the core barrel. That we planned. It's just a very rare experience for that to happen to any geologist.
So just real quick, tell us about some of the others on the team.
Sure.
Garrett, for example, some of the others, just real quick.
Yeah, so joining me on Aero Energy, my boss from NextGen, actually, Garrett Ainsworth. He was the gentleman with his cousin Miles that on a summer day I want to say it was 2012, found the boulder field, the high-grade boulder field that was traced to the discovery of the Triple R deposit, and then of course a year or so later the discovery of the Aero deposit for NextGen, so I think it's safe to say that if anyone's responsible for those pounds being discovered in the southwest corner of the Athabasca Basin, it's him.
Yeah, great.
Which is very, again, a very, very rare discovery.
Yeah, sure. Excellent. So you've started this brand new uranium company. You've just done a raise, and you have some projects up in the Athabasca, or on the edge of the Athabasca. First, high-level overview of the projects, the earn-in that's there. Sure. And that sort of thing about that.
Yes, that's a very good question. So we've put together 250,000 acres of mineral property, of claims, say, on the northern portion of the Athabasca Basin, which is a frontier place in the basin. You can still go to Saskatchewan, and even after these decades of discovery and decades of mining, there's places that have shallow targets that have not been tested, have not been looked at in a modern sense. And I think that's where the team, the exploration group, joining myself and other people as well, that we can really help unlock value, right? So what we're looking at here is that there's claims that we've staked, and then there's 2 option agreements that we're earning into. One is an earn-in for 70%, the other is an earn-in for 100%, where we're making staged payments and have a work commitment over 3 years that, hey, if we get onto something pretty quickly, things will move fast. And what we're doing right now, we're fully funded to take 20 to 25 shots on shallow targets. And the analogy I like to use, maybe I beat this to death, is that that's 20 to 25 shots on goal. Yeah. And, I'm hoping to put 1 in the net. 1. Yeah. Right. So what we're doing here going forward this summer is drilling those holes. Going to start drilling in about 3 weeks, so maybe by the time this comes out, it'll be 2 weeks or something like that till we'll be at site drilling holes. And the nice thing about this is that all the holes are relatively shallow. Each hole will average about 200 meters. It costs, where we're drilling, costs about $500 a meter to drill, which people say, hey, well, that's pretty expensive compared to some of your peers. But the way to look at it is a cost per test metric. So if each hole is only 200 meters deep, it's $500 a meter to drill. It's $100,000 Canadian per target, per shot on goal. We get to benefit from the fact that you don't have, and where we're working, you don't have to drill through 200, 300, 400, 500 meters of sandstone, which is barren rock, really, usually, before you even get to the target. Our targets are almost right at surface.
Right. They are at surface. They're not deep. So is that an advantage or a disadvantage? Like a lot of other deposits in the Athabasca are much deeper.
Yeah.
Tell us why the shallow ones actually have you excited.
Yeah, well, it's because being able to look for shallow uranium in the Athabasca Basin, it's like going back in time. Because that's what they did in like the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, right? In those areas where they were very successful in finding uranium. In our area, for whatever reason, that work hasn't really been done.
Yeah.
And I believe that's because people ask, well, why is that, right? And I think the main reason is that we're in it's called the Beaver Lodge Mining District, and Canada's second uranium district, Saskatchewan's first uranium district, where historically they mined 70 million pounds of uranium oxide at grades of 0.25%. So by today's standards, that would be kind of low.
Yeah.
That's not really what we're looking for. So I think that was a bit of a smokescreen in that it's kind of like, oh, the deposits in that area, they're all low grade. But if you kind of dig into it, all of the hallmarks for big uranium discovery are there. And those rocks aren't really looked at, aren't really explored.
Gotcha. Good to know. So just to wrap up here, tell us how much you're drilling, what kind of catalysts we might expect, when we might see some assays results this year.
Excuse me. So we're fully funded to drill about 4,500 meters now. I'd say 4,000 to 5,000 meters. So we'll say 4,500 meters. That's 20 to 25 holes. Starting in early June. We're actually mobilizing stuff in there already, and the drillers are going to be at site in the first week of June. So going forward, the nice thing about working in uranium is that when you're onto something, you know it right away because it's radioactive. You don't really have to wait for assays. If you hit something, you know it.
Right, gotcha.
Right? But over the course of the summer, we'll be putting out results probably in stages.
Yeah, great. So we'll see a lot of assay results this year and a lot of other casts. And maybe a second drill program, or how would you?
Let's see how this develops.
Okay.
There's going to be a lot of targets, and I want to see how our first targets look. And if we're successful, we will go forward as quickly as we can.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Great. Well, thanks, Galen. Again, I'm Jeff Clark at the Metals Investor Forum. Thanks for watching this journey we're taking with Aero Energy.